Hi. Okay, so today I am going to explain my lesson that I formed on a place-based lesson for social studies based on a second grade classroom, second grade standards, since I'll be student teaching at Parkman Elementary second grade next semester. So, the standard that I went ahead and picked is under second grade in social studies under the then and now category, a history standard where students locate information using both primary and secondary sources, and as well as another standard that the student compares and contrasts to draw conclusions. So, getting ahead of myself, my lesson is going to be using knowledge on the one-room schoolhouse and comparing how schools have changed over the years. So, to do that, we'll be focusing on the social studies aspect of it using secondary and primary sources, something my students will have a primary knowledge on. They'll be well sourced in how to utilize these sources and tell the differences, how to pick one that is credible. Another piece of knowledge that they will have is how to write down or document facts based from these documents they've found. And other primary or prior knowledge that they will have is how to compare. And so we'll be looking at the differences in how one-room schoolhouses functioned and how schools function today. So the ELA standard that kind of compares with that is the student can write a narrative in which they can write a well-elaborated sequence and compare. So I think a great way to kick off this lesson is to show them some primary sources of photographs of one-room schoolhouses. Just slap them on the smartboard and let them free write. Ask questions like, who is in this picture? Where is this picture taken? What year was this picture taken? What are the people in the picture doing? And then let them free write for about 5 to 10 minutes, kind of gauge how long, if they're wrapping up and whatnot, and then have them partner share what their ideas were. What were the stories they created behind these pictures? Let some group share out to get an idea of what these students were thinking. I'm sure their creativity will be awesome. And then go ahead and kind of dig into, what year were these pictures taken? Where are they taken from? What are the students doing there? And then the next part of the lesson moves on to doing some research, and maybe depending on if we have iPads, Chromebooks, whatnot. If we don't have that, sources that I've previously brought out for them to use, they'll use those skills of primary and secondary sources and finding credible sources, and then taking facts on how schools have changed over the years. What did schools used to look like? What years did those function? How have they changed? So documenting some facts, and then super fun aspect of this place-based lesson is taking a field trip to the Rocky Ford Schoolhouse here in Manhattan. They're available for field trips, and in fact they love classroom field trips. So taking them there, letting them maybe use clipboards to document their notes and findings. I'm sure there'll be some type of presentation that takes place, and then just what they visually observe as well. And then when we come back to the classroom, debriefing those notes with partners, small groups, and then large share out as well. And as we move into the assessment part, we're retouching in group instruction what is comparison as we think about the difference between the past and the present in our schools, and what did we learn from the one-room schoolhouse era, and how have schools changed. And then we'll move into our assessment of writing a paragraph comparing how have schools changed over the years, really relying heavily on the facts that students documented from primary and secondary sources, and then grading that with a points checklist, both how their sources, the facts that they found, were they mostly from primary, were they mostly from secondary, did they have a good balance, and were they well-rounded facts? If not, were the sources credible? So and so, and then in their paragraphs, were they able to make a visual, clear, and concise comparison? How schools have changed over the years, and do they reference those primary and secondary source facts that they have recorded? I think making it real world with the Rocky Ford House here in Manhattan. It's going to be super awesome for the students, something that I would be super excited to visit, as I've driven past it so many times. Really makes the learning place-based and gets them excited, and then makes them think deeper learning into how schools have changed over the years, just how rich our history is. So this would be something I'm super excited to do in second grade, and hopefully one day I can put it into place.